Good afternoon, everybody. I'm going to apologize in advance for the camera angle, and it's probably going to be shaky and annoying, and I'm sorry if it is, but a piece on my camera holder, whatever you call it, snapped, and I can't adjust it in the way that I normally do so that you can see what's straight ahead of me. And the only way I could do it, because of the placement of the, here, I'll show you. If I do it like this, see, you're gonna get the bar that normally extends out. See, it's like this bar thing here, and it goes out like this, but it doesn't stay up anymore. So I have to improvise and looking out the right side of the car. So we're on the Baltimore Pike, just coming out of Sheetz. I had to get some gas. I bought a new 8 terabyte hard drive because I've run out of memory, both physical and virtual up in the cloud. I'm completely tapped out. Memory's very expensive when you're doing video. You're dealing with terabytes, not gigabytes. And so an 8 terabyte hard drive fills up very quickly. And I'm at the point where I can't even edit a show and upload it to make space, because then I have to back up the original files on the cloud. That's out of space too. So I'm trying to think of the better system to go, because I can't be spending $500 or $600 every quarter when I run out of hard drive space. So certainly not at this point in our video making program, because it has not yet yielded extra revenue. So I can't justify that expense for much longer. So it's quite a dilemma. Quite a dilemma. Somebody might say, well, why don't you just delete it once you're done? Oh, no. First of all, we're a history podcast. What do we always complain about? It's when, Pickett's lost report, right? We don't want to lose things because we might need them. They might come in handy someday down the line. So, yeah. Michael, 6 question says, I love the animated graphic that was posted on Facebook. It did a difficult thing. It made you look adorable. Thank you, Mike. Thank you. Very kind of you. Matthew Gillespie says, good afternoon. Good afternoon, Matt. I don't know if you watched last night's Ask a Gettysburg Guide, but that picture you sent of Charlie, I showed him in the middle of the show, and we said your name, and he remembered you. And I believe you sent that to me. I didn't write it down, so I was going off of memory, and as we all know, my memory is not the best. Now, what was I talking about? Morning, Eric. So we are driving in the Culps Hill area. We're on Colgrove Avenue. We're gonna head the hill. I think I'm gonna go through Pardee Fields today. That's what we'll do. And you're getting a different view, because normally I don't have the camera pointing out the right side of the car. So you're getting to see some other things. Oh, don't worry about that, John. I have a device that projects it on the windshield, so I can see both at the same time. And let's be honest, the world will do just fine without me. Can't get no worse, right, guys? Ah, the world. So yes, you'll get to see Party Field as we come out of the trees here. Six Questions says, the show on Saturday was awesome. I've never seen Jim Pangburn so heated. I know, he totally caught me off guard. That was good. You guys were a great audience, and I'm glad. At first I was kicking myself for scheduling it the day before Easter because that led to a small audience. But then I remembered I'm trying something different and I don't really know how it's gonna go. So if I'm gonna fall on my face and fail, I'd rather do it in front of 10 people than 20 or more. So I'm glad that it worked out, and I'm excited for the next two, and I hope the audience, I mean, a lot of you guys are coming to 2 or 3 of them, so it'll be good then that those of you who were there on Saturday can kind of be the veterans who show the green troops how to go. But I think I thought it was fun. I enjoyed it. So now we're up on Culp's Hill. We're going to head up to the summit of Culp's Hill and then back down. But you know, it's funny. So Jim Pangburn got heated because I went around the room and I asked everybody who they thought the MVP was. And when I got to him, he was like, well, nobody. You know, I mean, they all were, you know, he was kind of irate. You know, he was joking, but also serious. And it was pretty funny. That's all I can say. It was pretty funny. Thanks for the super chat, Matthew. Hello, Jeff. It's Dingus Day. What the hell is Dingus Day? Is that an Australian holiday? Any chance of the raw footage of Saturday making it to Patreon before the anniversary? Yeah, actually, I was thinking of doing that, Tim, for the sake of the people who are coming for the next ones. I'm waiting for, I don't know if you were here from the beginning, I'm waiting for some files to transfer over to another hard drive. And then I was just going to go up and put, I'm not going to like really edit it. It'll just be literally the raw footage out of the camera. Probably the only thing I'll do is make it so that you can hear what people are saying. Otherwise, yeah, I was thinking of doing that. Because what we're doing for this is kind of what I also want to do for these other events that I'm trying to get funding for, ladies and gentlemen, through dhpioneers.com. That's the Digital History Pioneers. We have a lot of videos we want to shoot this year, and the video professionals that I will be enlisting to help us require I pay them. Those dirty bastards. No, Eric, actually, I will zoom into the part when you pick your nose so that everybody can see what a nose-picking guy you are. I didn't see you flick it on, Mike. Jeff says it's a Polish holiday to celebrate the end of winter, always the Monday after Easter, like any other drinking holiday. Go, okay. Well, happy Dingus Day to you as well. All right, let's see. We'll go out to the first day, and then we'll just do the McPherson's Wood part, the McPherson's Ridge part, and then we'll loop back, go through the seminary and down Seminary Ridge on West Confederate Avenue. That'll kill some time for me, and then I'll go back to the studio and sit and watch paint dry as it continues to transfer. But once it does, I can then go in, delete a bunch, and now I have room again. And that is what it's all about. So we're on Baltimore Street now, and you're looking at the east side of Baltimore Street. You have the Maryland Sutler coming up, very famous Sutler store, Jenny Wade birthplace here on the right there, that little gray place that you just passed. And it doesn't get any more exciting than that, ladies and gentlemen. No, it does. It does. This is the Presbyterian Church of Gettysburg there. John Burns took a nap there with Lincoln. And Eisenhower used to go to church there when he was living up this way. Oh, what the hell? We'll drive around the square for y'all. We'll do that. And we'll just go through McPherson's. No, we're not going to go through McPherson's Woods because I always lose my signal there. So we'll go different ways. Actually, now that I think of it, I don't know what I'm going to do. I know what I'm going to do. We're only going a little bit halfway around the circle. Simply Red. Holding back the years. The Majestic Theater there, owned by Gettysburg College. This is Frat Row, where many bacterial and viral infections can be caught on a Saturday night. I drove past the Jenny Wade. Oh, I did, didn't I? Yes, I did. Yeah, I did. And then I did mention her birthplace, which is more obscure. But yeah, I missed the place where she died. Her death place, which is the big tourist attraction. It didn't dawn on me until after I passed it that I should let people know where they're looking, because they're not looking at the road. We're on Carlisle Street now they're talking about that, Bill. Carlisle Street, this is the intersection of Broadway and Carlisle. That's where all the hoity-toity live, on Broadway. And then you leave the town. And then over to the left, which you can't see at the moment, is going to be what has been preserved of Howard's Line. And we're going to go on part of it. In effort to get up on Oak Hill. And go ahead. And whatnot. Yes, go ahead, Auger. Good for you. Getting in good shape. Good for you. Good for you. I wish I could. 6 questions says, what made the crowd great on Saturday is that we had people who were not afraid to participate, who had various levels of knowledge. Yes, that's the idea. And I hope that those of you in the audience, like yourself, Mike, and like Elaine, Eric, when we do these things, if you're there, kind of help me coax them into talking, the rest of the people who are not so used to it. because you don't go to these events and sit in the audience and nobody asks you what you think. Nobody cares what you think. They want you to hear what they've learned, and that's it. And there's nothing against that. We're not knocking that. That is certainly a way to do things, and I think that's the way most people are comfortable and used to dealing with their history. But I find it to be kind of old hat and boring. And so our stuff, as much as possible, is going to try to stray from that format. And so, yeah, Mike, people like you, Eric, Debbie, Lane, whoever the hell else wants to, kind of lead by example and show everybody there's nothing to be afraid of. Even if you say something wrong, that's the whole point. How many times did I say something stupid the other night? Well, okay, never. But, let's pretend I said something stupid the other night. All right? I'd leave it in. I'd leave it in. I said VIP when I meant MVP, and I knew it. That's the thing. I said, when whoever was talking, and I was thinking of the next thing I was going to say, I go, all right, at some point at the end, I want to ask everybody who the MVP is. But be sure not to say VIP. And then when you say MVP, say, see, I know some sports references. But then, of course, I said VIP, and Cody corrected me. So it's, you make mistakes. We leave it in, we have fun. Because whoever would say anything, okay, this is the thing. Whoever would say anything to mock you for saying the wrong thing would never have the nerve to get up and do it themselves. So you already have one up on them. So we're up at the Peace Light parking lot here, and you get to see a little bit out into the fields. Let's see, maybe if I could just briefly pull into this bus lot, you'll get some sense of something. Let me see, what can you see? You can see, it's hard for me to see because there's a darkness on the screen here. Let me see, it's as bright as it's gonna go. Anyway, you're looking out there at Sheeds' Woods. I've also seen it referred to as Will's Woods. I remember that's what it was called in Sid Meier's Gettysburg. I never heard the term Sheeds' Woods until I moved here. I might have read it in a book before, but it didn't compute with me that that's what it was. Oh man, they took the giant tree down. Look at this. What happened? What happened? Did it fall? Remember this big old shade tree that everybody used to run towards on the hot sunny days? Well, no more, ladies and gentlemen. Bring your parasols. John Stewart says, hey, just in the middle of rewatching the excellent episode on Archer's Brigade you had on last night. Thank you. Can we have a round of applause for Matt McClanahan? Yeah, let's do that because I think he did a great job. Okay, stop. You can stop. Thank you. He did a great job on that show. A lot of people are saying more Matt, more Charlie, less you. And I'm like, all right. Actually, I tell them, I will do that on all shows. More of everybody but me. But you have to become a first lieutenant over on Patreon for a year first. And they usually shut up after that. In other words, put your money where your mouth is. So we're going down Baxter's Brigade's line. And out in the fields, which you really can't see totally, but we have Iverson's Pits off to the right, where Iverson's brigade got shellacked by Baxter, and it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun if you read the accounts. Oh, speaking of Tim Smith, I saw Tim the other day, and I said, Tim, the people are clamoring for you to come on the show. And he goes, okay. And I said, we're going to start doing them live Tuesday nights at 7 o'clock, and I buy dinner if the patrons or if the viewers are so kind as to do super chats so that we can afford it. And he said, your viewers are wonderful. They will. And I said, I know. But that's what we're going to do. And there'll be Wednesday nights starting in August. And he goes, okay, well, I probably can't do it till the fall, but let me see maybe Gary will want to do it with me too. And I said, that would be great. So I got Dave on it, and maybe we'll get Tim back on the show. That Archer's Brigade is now vaulted into my top 5 favorite Addressing Gettysburg episodes. Oh, good. Good. I tell you, man, oh man. So I keep playing the lottery because I'd like to be able to say to certain people, and I won't, I'd like to be able to say to certain people, I'd like to be able to say, people of certainness, you should quit your job and move your whole entire family out here, and I will pay you X amount of dollars to help me really make this show great. And, they cut down the trees over here too. What's going on? I mean, not that I'm one of these tree huggers, but I'm just surprised. I wonder if they blew over in the storm. Anyway, sorry, ADD at work. Yeah, Matt would be one of those people. I'd be like, forget this lawyer bullshit. You don't need the ulcers. You're really good. Come out here and be a part of my show. I'll pay you $500,000 a year. And he'll be like, but you won $475 million. And I go, I will pay you $500,001 a year. You twisted my arm, you know? John Stewart says, anyone know if Matt takes song requests? I do, but I sing anyway. Matthew says, I'm presently reading Berdan's U.S. Sharpshooters by Captain C.A. Stevens, as suggested by your Patreon members. Oh, very nice. I think I remember you asking that. See, that's the thing about being a patron, and Matthew and Six Questions, and maybe Eric, if he wants to be honest, can attest to this, that it's not just supporting Addressing Gettysburg and listening to the shows that we put out over there. There's a bit of a community, and people reach out for information, and other people come in and say, oh, blah, 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 blah. I don't know how many other things that you can contribute to around here give you that sense. Michael, Six Questions Lens says, Eric, of course. Oh, okay. I was insinuating that I do not know. Oh, whatever. Oh, whatever. Oh, whatever. Yeah, Six Questions says, I found it hilarious with all the sports analogies with you as the moderator. I know the first thing I asked, I think, was when you think of day one, how do you characterize it in your mind? Something like that. And Brian was the first guy who raised his hand, and he just started throwing out sports terms. And I thought he was having a stroke or had some kind of Tourette's. And then people said, no, those are sports terms, Matt. Oh, okay. Yes, of course. Yes, first quarter. Thought he was talking about filing taxes. Hey, what happened? Yeah, I wonder why they cut the trees down, Mike. That's weird. I mean, they had I can't imagine that big one blew up. Maybe it split in half. I don't know. I'll have to find out. Bill says, Sid Meier's Gettysburg. I can't tell you how much time I spent playing that game. It was fantastic. All-time favorite. Me too, Bill. You know what's funny? I played that game so much. I remember one time, it was like a 5 or 6 hour tear that I was on. It was like this snowy day. There's nothing else to do. And I just sat and played. And I remember that night I went to bed and all I could see were the little soldiers and the game. Like I closed my, and like I could just, You know, like when you look at something really bright and then you go, oh, and you close your eyes and then you see like an outline of whatever it is you saw. It was like that almost. I love that game. But that game helped me with the order of battle and terrain and like relations, like where one hill is in relation to another or something. And you know, like people write games off as just stupid games, but they are good tools to learn by. Reinforcements have arrived. Yeah, that I always love the sound of that. Mike Lawson says, the episode on Archer's Brigade was very good. Long, but the discussion on California and Lincoln's anti-abolitionist stance was interesting. Yeah, they're all pretty long. They're 1.5 or more hours. It depends on how much there's to talk about and how sidetracked we get. And also questions, you know, if there's a lot of questions from the audience. When we have callers, sometimes they've got more than one question, and I try to give them the floor for as long as possible. Some people like to go on, but mostly they don't. They get in and out real quick, and yeah. We've had like 3-hour shows or more sometimes. I think this one came in just under 2, if I'm not mistaken, right? Good afternoon, Dustin. And Dustin, by the way, thank you for your donation. I hope it wasn't supposed to be anonymous, but thank you for your donation to the Digital History Pioneers. I didn't know that you could do monthly donations, but you have, so thank you for that over at dhpioneers.com. That certainly will go towards helping. That doesn't make sense. That will go towards helping. That will certainly help. I don't know. I don't know where I got that. I never speak that way. Craig, thank you very much for the super chat. I appreciate that. That'll help with gas. Matthew says, what you say about Patreon is very true. Oh, good. I'm glad. Because that's what I hoped it would become. And it has. And I didn't really do much to foment that. That's just you guys kind of doing that on your own. I am always afraid to try to foment certain things because I'm afraid of nobody doing it. And then that's embarrassing. So you guys kind of just like did that all on your own. And I like that because I didn't have to encourage it. But now that it's going, I do encourage it. I think it's great. That's the whole idea. I'll give you a little look out at Pickett's charge while I grab that thermos that's rolling around on my floor, because it is annoying me. There we go. We got you now, thermos. You're not going anywhere. John Stewart says, reporting general. And Matthew Lesby says, sometimes I have to listen to the Ask a Guides in phases. Yeah, I don't know anybody who listens to any podcast all the way through unless they're like a 15-minute or a 20-minute podcast. I listen to, like, certainly if I'm listening to a Joe Rogan show, those go on for hours. So those will take a while for me to finish, if I finish them at all. There's only a lot of the people he has I don't find particularly interesting, or whatever, but sometimes he's got these really interesting people on and I'll listen to them. BKW says, are the beavers zoo? What does that mean? Zoo? Sun Tzu? No, that's not spelled that way. ABT Park Day is the weekend as well. Said hi. Hey Craig, how are you? Are the Beavers Union or Confederate? Oh, gotcha. The beavers are definitely Confederate because they're destroying American heritage and history, and they're trying to destroy the United States right now by flooding some of our sacred ground. There are no beavers, only Zool. That's funny. Pitzer's Woods that you're looking at. This is where the amphitheater is. You have what, the 3rd Maine and 1st U.S. sharpshooters, I think, out there. Somebody correct me on those. And you got Longstreet statue we just passed. There's a water fountain there. Usually some porta-johns or some kind of something. I don't know if they're going to have them this year. You never know from year to year what they're going to continue doing. So the right side of the car, when you're driving through here, is not particularly interesting because all the monuments and cannons are on the left side. But I can't show you that because of my little apparatus there. But don't worry, I went right on Amazon the minute it broke and I ordered another one. They're only like 13 bucks, they're not expensive. This intersection here is the intersection with Pumping Station Road. The Eisenhower Farm is down there. You can see the white fence of the Eisenhower Farm. A beautiful farm, a very nice site to visit. If you've never done it, you need to go in there and take a tour of the place. It's really cool. And they're putting on some pretty good events out there. World War II weekend was out there, and I believe it's going to be there again. It's a really cool place. I think, and if somebody remembers in the audience, they'll correct me here, but I think I want to say that it was around $40,000 for the Eisenhowers when they bought the farm. And then I believe that they bought up properties around it as time went on or something like that, or the government did. I don't remember how that all worked. But it's a nice, cool farm. So you got some cannon here for those of you who need to see cannon and monuments, and you're going to see some monuments coming up as we clear the upcoming woods. John says, missed my song request, intentional or not. How's that start? You since you were 17, and all the time I've known you, I still don't know what you mean. That's what everybody says to me. The weekend at the college that the journey like we planned. The things that pass for knowledge I can't agree. Are you reading in the years? There you go. Michael says, did you learn anything new from the Archer episode yesterday? No. I don't think so. If I did, I already forgot it. Let's put it like that. Sandra says, hello, Matt. And I say, hello, Sandra. How are you? Here's the Arkansas Monument. A lot of people pronounce it Arkansas. Well, I knew Matt McClanahan was going to be a great guest because I've known him for a good number of years, and there's just certain people you can tell they don't change the way they carry themselves no matter who's around, and those people tend to be good as a guest. And Matt is one of those people. He's at ease all the time and confident in what he says, so I knew he would be good. That's not any new knowledge for me there. What maybe the one thing I did learn was that he was so good, like really good, like, makes me wish he lived out here and did the show more often. Good. Thank you very much, Matthew, for the super chat. And you say, I hope this covers the cost of your new phone holder and a coffee. Oh, well, gee, thank you very much. It does. I appreciate that. Timothy says, hi, Matt. Appreciate what you do. I appreciate you appreciating that and telling me. Thank you, Timothy. So we're going to turn right here on Wheatfield Road. And the peach orchard is going to be on the right. Try to straighten that out a bit. Hey, Melissa, how are you? Now, I hesitate to go down into the Valley of Death because it's usually death for my cell signal. So I'm gonna go this way on Sickles Avenue. Good afternoon, Ron. Good to see you. There's the 7th New Jersey Monument, that bullet out there. I remember one time I was on a bike tour and Bob Steenstra was the guide and he pointed to it. It was a nice little family from New Jersey, so he made sure to point it out to them. And he said to the kids, now kids, this is a pretty good representation of what a Civil War bullet looked like. And one of the kids said in all earnestness, how did they carry that? And he had to explain, and it wasn't quite to scale. All right, now I'm gonna risk this. I'll give you a warning now. Usually when we get past the Trossel farm, it's also a spot where I'll lose signal for a second. So if it drops you or you lose patience and leave, come on back after like a minute and we'll see things around the Pennsylvania Memorial and the angle. 6 questions says, Matt, I too appreciate what you do. Thank you, Michael. I know that, Mike. You don't keep that secret, and I appreciate that. Mike's one of the few people who will just randomly go, so how are you? And I go, thank you for asking, Mike, because it's so rare. And so I says 7th New Jersey is one of mine too. Road is not a battle road in its entirety, as I understand it. Well, looks like we haven't lost you yet. Usually we lose service by... All right. One of my favorite farmhouses here is the Weichert farmhouse, and it's coming up on our right. And I've always thought it would be so cool to work for the park because you could live here. This is one of the houses that people live in. And it's just this cool little old farmhouse. It's small too. It's got to be tight living in there, but how cool is that you get to come home and this is home and you're like one of the few people who's allowed out here 24/7. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Wonder Monkey 72 says 7th New Jersey is my favorite. Welcome to the comments section, Wonder Monkey. Thank you for joining us. Here's Father Corby. He's absolving you all right now, whether you need it or not. You need it. You know you need it. You may not want it, but you need it. Matthew Gillespie says, you broke up a little bit, but stayed on. Okay, good. There's the New York Auxiliary Monument. Fourth Pennsylvania Cavalry. Yeah, I even am like, huh, let's look a little closer. It's what's over here. I never really look at the right side. I'm always looking out at the left. That's the Second Corps, First Division tablet. Wonder Monkey says, thanks for having me. Also, go Irish. Go Irish indeed. Good old Father Corby bringing out the Notre Dame fan in you. There's the PA Monument. We don't normally get a good view of it like this as we drive by, but we're doing it now. Michael Lawson says, have you visited every monument on the battlefield? I believe I have, at least once. There were a number of years that were spent exploring, and being that I had another number of years running a bicycle tour company, I had you know, I got to know a lot of guides, and you know, just in conversation, hey, you ever seen the 16th PA Cavalry out on what is it, Longview or Fairview, or I keep forgetting the name of that road, but I'd be like, no, I've never seen it. And then we'd go out after work, and you know, so yeah, I think I have. I don't know, I should have taken a list down of the ones that I have, like, you know, just get a list of them all and check them off as I've seen them. But I think I have. I like to find things that not everybody gets to see by driving around in a car. That's a good question, Michael. I'm gonna have to ponder that more seriously and get a real answer for you. But I do believe I have. Stowing away the time. There's a General Meade statue. Matthew, it is going to make a comeback. I don't think it's going to be this year. I fell behind with a lot of stuff for addressing Gettysburg, and I just, you know, I don't have the just the wherewithal, like everything that's required to get another business back up and running. I bought the business back last year, but yeah, the time to have done it was over the winter, and I set up an LLC, but all the other infrastructure I just have not had the time to devote to it, because I'm still finishing up things that should have been done by January 1st for addressing Gettysburg. So, you know, it's tough to be a one-man show, you know, and try to do 100 million things at once. And I think for my health, I had to say, okay, let's get addressing Gettysburg under control before we start thinking about getting Gettysburg tours back up and running. Because that is, you know, more important. You gotta shore up what you have before you go building something else. Melissa says, I really enjoyed the Archers Brigade show. The show was really awesome. Anytime Charlie's on the show, I know it's going to be great. You were fabulous, Matt. Thank you for all you do. Thank you very much, Melissa. I've never been called fabulous. A fabulous disaster, yes, but never just fabulous with no other word after it. So thank you very kindly for that wonderful compliment. And make sure you spread that around the internet. John Stewart says, speaking of Father Corby, moment of silence for the passing of Pope Francis. Pope Francis died. I did not know that. I haven't checked the news yet. When did he die? Today or yesterday? I still have a little time to kill, so let's go to East Cavalry Field, huh? Yeah. Okay. Okay, there was the moment of silence. I'm sorry. You asked for a moment of silence, and I started clapping, and not because he died, but because we're going to East Cavalry Field. So there you go. I gave you your moment. How long is a moment? Is a moment actually a specific amount of time, or is it something you play by feel? Is it longer than a minute? Is it shorter than a minute? Is it a minute? So many questions about life unanswered. All right, so let's see. We're going to cut through Lefevre Street. There's Mr. G's Ice Cream. There's Unity Park on our right here. And why did I go this way? It's a 15-mile-an-hour speed limit. God, I can't even put it on cruise control at that speed. Ugh. Well, these are where all the schools are. Died early this morning. Wow. Day after Easter. Well, Easter is a day of rising from the dead. So it's not as poignant as that might sound, I guess. Pope Fran, how old was he? He had to be up there, right? Wonder Monkey says, who has the best burger in town? I'm going to tell you something. You're not going to believe me. But for my money, the best burger I've had in town is at Food 101, which I believe calls itself 101 now. However, since they did the whole name change and everything, I have not been there back. I haven't been back there yet. And so I don't know if the menu has changed or everything is still the same. But at one point in time, they had the best burger in town. And I actually loved it so much when I had it, I barged into the kitchen. That wasn't hard to do. It was like open. So I didn't barge in. I just stuck my head in and I said, that was the best burger I ever had. What the hell do you do to it? And they said, thank you. It's a blend of meats. And I said, yes, that's it. It's a blend. And that's the key. I used to make my burgers that way too. I would do, what would I do? I can't even remember what I used to do. I would do regular old ground beef. Was it, oh shit, what the hell was, I don't remember what I did now, but I used to do and same thing with meatballs. You get your veal, that's what veal. That's what I used. Veal, ground beef, and something else. I can't remember the other one. But you make that blend, and you're going to have the best burger, the best meatloaf, whatever. Not meatloaf. Well, yeah, I guess you could do it for meatloaf, but I hate meatloaf. Meatballs. The meatballs you're ever going to have. However, Gettysburg I find to be very delicious. Their burgers, their sandwiches. I like Gettysburg as well. Sorry for the swinging camera. Again, my thing broke. I don't go. We used to. So here's the problem. We used to go to these places after our show on Thursdays, but the problem became we started going longer on those shows, and everybody closes at effing 9 o'clock. And okay, I get it in the winter because there's not a lot of people on a Thursday even going out for dinner in the winter. But come on, folks. Come on. Tourist season. Or how about not tourist season? How about just nice weather? People stay out longer. It's lighter longer. They want to eat later. Close the kitchen at like 10:30. But here's the thing that people do. They say, well, kitchen closes at 9. You come in at 8:05, and they say, sorry, kitchen closes at 9. And I go, yeah. And they're like, well, we can't seat anybody for food. You can stay for drinks. And I'm like, so you're going to walk away from a bill when your kitchen closes in an hour. You're going to walk away from the money that we would spend on the food. We don't want drinks. We want food. And I don't know, do you know who I am? I get into that too. And they're like, no, I don't know who you are. And it's like, well, you should, and then I walk out all embarrassed. But that doesn't happen. So there's very few places that we can go now that are open after 9. So like we'll go there at 8:30 but to like certain places because the kitchen closes at 10. So La Bella is one place we go. Where the hell? Oh, that new diner out by the Wyndham. That's another place that we go. Because they're open later. But yeah, I don't know what it is. We tried, I won't say which one, but the other night after the show, we wanted to go to one that was out near where Cindy and I live, because Cindy wasn't there. She had to go get her daughter, pick her up, and then she wasn't going to be back in time for the show. So she's like, I'll just go home and hang out with her. And I was like, all right, I'll try to get everybody to come out near us for dinner, and then you can meet us. So we did, and of course Cindy got there first because it's close to the house, and she called, and she's like, the kitchen's closed. And I go, what do you mean? The kitchen, it said online it closes at 10. And then she goes, yeah, I know. They said they lost the password and can't get in to change it. And I go, then you don't close your kitchen at 9. It's posted out there that you close at 10. I don't know. I don't get it. And I know what the answer is. The answer is, well, people don't come out. But it's one of those things like a chicken or the egg thing. I know what came first. What came first is people didn't come out because of 2008. This is when it all goes back to 2008. Everybody started closing early because nobody had money, so nobody went out. Or at least people were afraid of losing their money, so nobody went out and spent money. So everybody closed early. Great. Things improved. And people were like, we have money to spend. We want to go out. But everybody got used to closing early. And so they close early. And then it's like, well, how come nobody's coming anymore? Well, because everybody knows that this town rolls up its sidewalks between 5 and 8. And so it pisses people off. And where do they go? They go elsewhere out of town. The people that are benefiting from Gettysburg businesses closing early are people in other towns. Phil says, I was at 101 last fall and it was fantastic. It is. It's very good food. Matt says, I like the General Mead burger at the Blue and Gray. Blue and Gray's got great burgers too. There's a few places. I would say Blue and Gray, the Gettysburger, of course. I mean, they should, right? It's in the name. And that burger at Food 101. Those are the best burgers I've had in town. Faux show. My favorite thing at Blue and Gray is the tuna bites, I think they call them. It's like seared tuna, but the sauces that they have with it are just really good. So I would highly recommend that. I don't go to a lot of these places anymore because when I do go before closing, I don't like dealing with the parking in town. So they have to be walkable from the studio because I can park at the studio. So I'll park at the studio, and if I can walk to there, then that's where I'll go. ABC got that big parking lot behind it, so you can go there. Dobbin House, there's enough parking around the Dobbin House, but we can also walk there from the studio. Farnsworth, same thing. We can walk there from the studio. So Hoofen and Fowl, walk there from the studio. But the parking in town just ruins a lot. Where did we go? Oh, we were in Shepherdstown a couple of Saturdays ago, and we park on the street, and I start panicking because I'm like, oh shit. Well, not really panicking, but I'm like, damn it. I go, Cindy, do you have any quarters on you for the meters? And she's like, no, I don't have any quarters. She's like, well, I could use the phone app if they have it here. And I don't know, let's get out. And we look at the meter to see how we could do this. And lo and behold, it's free on Saturday and Sunday, because Shepherdstown clearly doesn't try to cover their mismanagement of borough funds by bilking the people who want to park. It's amazing how that works. Shepherdstown's a great little town to visit. I highly recommend that town as well. All right, here we go. East Cavalry Field. There we have a little orchard. Nelson said, wow, that's a great name, Nelson. Nelson Daniel Ferrari. Wow, I wish I had a name like that. That's a nice name. I'm just going to call you Nelson, though, so I don't get tongue-tied. I totally look up to you people from Gettysburg. For me, it's the best place in the world. I was there last year. I live in crap Brazil and would like very much to live in your town. I'm sorry you live in crap Brazil, but thank you. We love it here, too. We do, we do. It is a beautiful area of the United States. There's a lot. Who was I talking to the other day? Oh, I was talking to, I don't know who I was talking to, but I was talking about our friends who moved out to Montana. And I said, oh man, I would love to go out there someday and see it. It looks beautiful. And then I thought to myself, I go, you know, most of the continent looks beautiful. Most of the world looks beautiful. It's the people that are the problem. And the places people go. That's what makes it not beautiful. But when you go to like the middle of nowhere, it's gorgeous. It's you and the man upstairs and whatever wild critters he's put out there that might eat you. And I don't know, that's nice. That's nice. So, but I'm sorry you live in crap Brazil. I wouldn't like that either. Although I have to say, pictures I've seen from Brazil look beautiful. Matthew Gillespie, by the way, thank you for watching from crap Brazil. I appreciate that, Nelson. Matthew Gillespie says to Daniel, or to Nelson, I'd like to live there too. It just isn't in the cards. Oh, you never know. Look, there's an old saying. I think it comes from Cicero. And that saying is, where there's a will, there's a way. Or maybe it was Plato. I don't know. But it was one of those guys. Maybe Socrates. Or maybe it wasn't either one of them. Who knows? Somebody does. Not me. Maybe it was Bart Franklin, one of our founding fathers. Nobody knows the trouble I see. Don Dingle says, just a note, the marathon ran through East Cavalry Field from 2017 to 2020. RIP, right, Don? All right. So, yeah, unfortunately, I'll show you. Well, here, I can move it over for a moment here as we approach. This is... that's the Michigan Brigade Monument. It used to be, oh, look at that. It's staying. Let's see how long it stays before it falls. It's called Custer Avenue. It's all grass now, but at one point you could probably take your Model T or horse and buggy up there and loop around the monument. Oh, look at that. It's still staying. Wonder Monkey says, can we get an episode about Johnson's Island up here by me in Northwest Ohio? Or is there not enough there to unpack? I don't know enough about it to answer that question, the second part. But I'll tell you what, Wonder Monkey, would you like to be on that episode if I can find a historian to team you up with and we can talk about it? Being that you're from there. Even if you don't want to, that's not a no. I would still do that. We just have to find a historian. And that, depending on if I have a licensed guide here who knows enough about it that he could put a show together, then we could do that with a guide. And if we just have a historian maybe from Ohio who can talk on it, we can do that too. I'm gonna put you back over to the left though, folks, because I think what is going on here? Why is it not? Let me do that. There we are. Okay. So you want to see the Rommel Farm. But I would do it. I would do it there, Wonder Monkey. Phil says, love running through East Cavalry Field. It's beautiful and quieter than the rest of the battlefield. It is. It is a nice place to come and be away. You get history, and you don't have to deal with all the bullshit with the people. Hello, Paranormal Brew. How are you? Love these drives, Paranormal says. Thank you so much for always doing these. You're very welcome. You're very welcome. I'm actually going to get a new lease a year before this is due because I'm already going to hit my mileage. And I went in and I said to the sales manager, I was like, listen, I got my eye on this new Rogue that you guys have out that looks like it's got more balls. And I go, how hard is it for me to get out of the lease I'm in into that before my lease is up? And he looked it up and he goes, you gotta do another year. And I was like, okay. I said, that'll be good because I think I'll be over my mileage by then. And he's like, what are you doing? And I go, well, we were looking at houses. So I had to go to look we looked at 53 houses before we bought our house. It's a lot of driving. But I also do these driving videos for work. And people like them and I like them. And it's like 20 miles a day when I do that. So, it adds up pretty quick. And he's like, oh, okay. He goes, well, as long as you stay with us and you go from lease to lease, the mileage won't matter. And I was like, oh, good. Oh, good. Now, that's what he says back then. Let's see if it changes in a year. So I'm glad you like them, Paranormal Brew. I like them too. Wonder Monkey says, don't mess with me, man. No, did I say Wes? Mess. No, I'm not messing with you. If you want to come on and do it, I'm more than happy to. I don't know if you saw last night's episode, but Matt isn't a historian. He's a lawyer. He just has an interest in Archer's Brigade. He pursued it. And we're trying to shine a light on listeners who do that and include you in the show. You're not going to be the focal point because we've always dealt with people with bona fides. And it's really to kind of, I don't know, it's kind of a cloak, like an immunity cloak, I guess, because it kind of protects you. If you say something wrong, then typically the guide or whoever we team you up with is going to catch you in the middle of the show. And that's okay. That's the whole idea. The people out there that are going to catch somebody and go, well, you're wrong about that. It's not 14 stitches in the buttonholes. It's 27. Nobody wants to hear from those people anyway, but they wouldn't have the nerve to put themselves out there because if they did, they wouldn't comment like that. So it's just kind of, I don't know. I just can't stand those people. But we will have you on without another historian, but that'll be on Patreon. And that way you're a little more protected if you get something wrong, because the patrons are cool about things. Yeah, if it's going to go out like on an Ask a Guide, we have to pair you up with a licensed guide. But absolutely, you're welcome to come on. Anybody who has, quote unquote, done their own research and is, at least in their circle of friends and family, the expert on X, then if we can find a guy to team up with you who can speak on that subject, we want you on. Like, you're more than welcome to come on. Don Dingle says, I love these tours too. Yeah, I don't do much history on these tours because, again, I'm not a historian. And not that I don't know things, it's just, I don't know. I don't know anything that I think you'd be interested or that you don't already know yourselves. So it's really, these drives are just about the joy of seeing Gettysburg, and in my case, being in Gettysburg, being able to drive. And I figure you guys want to be here, so I'll just share it with you. It's more about that than anything else. But if something comes to mind, I'll throw it out there. John says you could tell those people to stitch their buttonholes. Yeah. Hello, Peter. How are you? So this road here, which is I think called Cavalry Field Road, is going to take us out to Route 30, which is the York Road. Takes you to other places before you ever hit York, but that's the big city that you're going to hit out there. And we're not going that way. We're going to head back toward town. Oh, you know what might be cool? Nah, let's go for a little ride. Let's go for a ride. Okay? We'll go for a ride. I have probably, I got a good deal of time before those files are going to transfer. So let's go out. You've heard of, so we're working on a video about the 26th Pennsylvania Emergency Volunteers. And one of the places that, now watch, somebody else is going to have one about them soon. One of the places that is interesting is, well, one of the parts of the story, I should say, that's interesting is that the train that they're taking from Harrisburg to get out here before the battle, and I believe it's on June 25th, when they're coming down. Sorry, I just got distracted by something. The train they're taking derails when it hits a cow. Some train. And it derails near Swift Run. And so we'll go out there. I don't know the exact spot, but it's near Swift Run. There's a bridge that goes over Swift Run, so I'm imagining it's somewhere in the vicinity of that bridge. So we'll drive. Are you still there? I can't tell yet. Sorry, my phone overheated. So if you got cold air blasting on you, sorry about that. Somebody give me a signal that we're still live. You're back. Okay. Yeah, my phone overheated and it just like turned itself off. It's like, sorry, got to cool down. So I was just blasting the air on it. Huh. It's not even that hot. And it always happens when there's like good interaction. Just decides something technical always goes wrong. It's just life, I guess. All right, BKW says I need to come out this summer sometime. I've been there the last 3 years on spring break. I am surprised how little there is going on that time of year. Yeah, well, we're starting to ramp up. Everybody's starting to ramp up. April is, lately, April has not been a reliable month. It's actually been more March-like than most Marches have been in the last few years. Usually the Marches, at least in the last 2 that I can remember, last like 5. March was more like April as far as temperature goes and nicer days. And then April is like March with colder temperature, rain, wind. It's weird. It's weird. Crazy, man. Crazy. Paranormal says these drives are just about seeing Gettysburg when we can't be there ourselves. So seeing it is soothing to my soul. I love it. Yeah, thank you. Good. I'm glad that you like them. That's why I started doing those sights and sounds of Gettysburg videos, because I figured it might actually be nicer for you to not listen to me blab and just look and listen. And I'll shoot it on a better quality camera than a cell phone. And so I don't know if those help at all, but I've been waiting for the weather to improve, and I'm going to do, not weather so much, but the leaves to improve, and I'm going to start doing some. I think the next thing I'm going to do is get back to the old sunset videos from Little Round Top, but this time, no commentary, won't be live, won't be on a cell phone. It'll be nice. It'll be pretty. Let's see if I can get that back that way. No, not gonna work, sorry. Sorry, you're just looking at this stupid houses and trees. I don't want to miss the road. I think it's coming up. Yes, I believe it is. I walked on that lawn with my 32-20 down in my hand. Yes, Swift Run Road. So that's what you want to turn on off of 30. Now, again, I don't know the exact spot where the train derailed, but let's hold it up there for a second. This is the track. Somewhere in this vicinity, there's actually a bridge that goes over the run a little further down. So it could have been there, I don't know. But somewhere along the way, a cow got in the way, derailed the train a bit. Some of the regiment marched on to Gettysburg, and the others said, nah, we'll wait. And so they stayed, chopped up the cow, and had themselves a meal. Might as well, right? Nothing like a roadkill dinner. So this is Swift Run Road, which is nice. I'll show you kind of where this will lead you out to. We go into Strabane Township over this little bridge here. Soon we're going to open up into some nice farmland that provides a lovely vista. Here at the intersection of New Chester Road, you have a stop sign that'll sneak up on you if you don't pay attention. thing is annoying. Daniel says, love all about Gettysburg. Me too, me too. Paranormal Bruce says, and it makes me want to get back there ASAP. Next planned trip is July for the Gettysburg Battlefield Bash. That is planned. And I'll be there before then. I can't go long without being there. I can't either. That's why I moved here. I just had to come here. Like, I'll figure something out. God, this phone is annoying. I'm sorry about that, folks. Estella's dropping in to say hello. Hello to you, Estella. Don Dingle says, yes, very cool story. I'm loving all the pre-battle info. It's kind of crazy. Oh, sorry, that's two different people. Some walk to town, some stay with the train, as I recall. That is correct. Peter says, very cool. I'm loving all the pre-battle info. It's kind of crazy. Yeah, the pre-battle info is interesting to me. I like how things start. Once they actually are underway, they kind of bore me. I like the lead up to things, and then the beginning of it, and then the oh shit, we're in trouble now feel of it. But then the trouble part, I don't know. I guess the trouble part is far more complicated and involved. And there's you take away that moment of maybe we can avoid this because you're in the middle of it. So clearly you can't avoid it. But in the lead up, there's always that sense of, well, maybe this could be avoided, even though you know it wasn't avoided. Nelson says, for a tourist, I believe it would be necessary to stay there about a month to take a good visit for the entire battlefield. That's a lot of incredible details. Yeah, you know, when I've met people who've come down for a weekend kind of on a whim, like, you know, they're just like, oh, let's check this out, you know. They fall in love with the place and they're like, we got to come back here again. And I always stop them and I say, but you can't just stay for Friday through Sunday, because really that really means you only have one day to explore everything, and you're not going to explore everything even if you stay here a month. But if you're like, for example, if you're coming from Brazil, right, you should stay for a month, because how often can you get up here realistically, right? So if you can get up here once, you better make it a long time and take your time. And yes, get guides. Absolutely get guides. Get more than one battlefield guide on your journey. Or if you know one that you like, book him or her as often as you can while you're here, so that you can learn from them more. By the way, the Battle of Hunterstown are here. The Hunterstown Road. That or not. Oops. I didn't, but we'll go to Biglerville now. Anyway, so you yeah, do the guide one-on-one. You know, if you like museums, there's tons of museums around. You could certainly do those, but that's where I say spend your time. If you have precious time and you don't have the luxury of coming here 3 or 4 times a year for a weekend here and there or whatever, then do yourself a favor and get some guides. If you listen to our show and you like guides on the show and you like their personalities, they don't just do the show, they give tours. Contact me, I'll put you in touch with them. You book them when you come out. whether you stick with the same one or you get a variety, it's up to you. Depends on how you like to operate. Me, if I bond with somebody and I find that we've got, we click, then I like to work with that person because then I will get more out of it. Some people like variety, so that's your call. But anyway, you got to have a guide. And I would avoid group tours only because they really they can give you a very superficial overview, which is fine. Most people, that's all they need. But if you really are interested in this stuff, you got to do one-on-one with a licensed battlefield guide. Period. End of story. Don't you dare question my authority on this. You can question my authority on cell phone holders for videos, because clearly I chose one that wasn't great, but Sorry, I'm way behind on the comments here. Here's a crazy question. Any word on cicadas this summer? Are we due for more cicadas? I thought that was like a once in a 25-year or 17-year thing. I haven't heard anything about cicadas. Fill me in. Let me know what's going on. Don, I don't know what the weather looks like for Saturday's tour. We go rain or shine. So I don't know. It was 2 Aprils ago already. Jesus. We got we got drenched in a downpour and thunderstorm. Casualties. Those of us who stayed, the 20%, we had a it's the SPCA. I've heard stories on the show, I'm sure, about horrible stories. They do good work there. Ugh, that's so annoying. I'm surprised they're watching this. Phil said, excited to record a few bumpers. Cool idea. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I have to. This is one of those ugly solar farms that we're bitching about all the time. See? Solar farm, and then beautiful old historic barn and farmhouse. Thanks, Geritol. Oh, by the way, this is where the 26th Pennsylvania Emergency Volunteers made their final stand. That hill right there. What he's talking about there, ladies and gents, is I asked the patrons to record bumpers that we'll use when we come back from or go to the break when we start doing live Ask a Guides on May 6th. And a good deal have sent them in, and I appreciate that. It's, I look at it like this. I would have been doing this whether we found an audience who supports us or not. It would have always just been a hobby, and the audience probably wouldn't have been as large as it is. And I would have been going on, miserable in life. But we did find an audience which is full of supportive people who are regularly in touch with me, and I'm happy to be back in touch with and realized last year that that I would have quit if I didn't find a way to support myself doing this. I would have eventually let the hobby kind of die out, which is what most podcasters do when it's just a hobby. Because you're already working another job, the passion that you have for this will die out because it's not fruitful. The work that you're putting in is not fruitful. And that's why most guys that do this, they don't last very long, they put out as many episodes, because it's a hobby. So I realized, you know what? I'm able to do this for as long as I've been doing it because of all these people. So addressing Gettysburg is not Matt. It's the guides, it's me, it's Court, it's Mike, it was Eric the producer, and Veronica, and Debbie, and Six Questions, and Cindy, and Bethany, and all these people that come around, Eric Houston, everybody that was at the show Saturday night, everybody that's been at all of the shows that we've done in person. Like, it's everybody. It's not a us and them thing, it's a us thing. The them is everybody who's not in the Gettysburg community, but they're not adversaries. They're just not with us, that's all. It's not a with us or against us thing. They just, whatever, they're not with us. They're welcome, but they're not with us. So I said we need to hear more from everybody. The Volk, the people. And so I'm looking to include people more. And that's why I was saying to, who was that? Wonder Monkey, I think, or I forget what the name was. Something with a monkey. That's why I was saying, hold on, let me just stop and try to adjust this so it's not so all over the place. Okay. No, that doesn't matter. Sorry, guys. This is annoying. Anyway, that's what I was saying. Yeah, if you want to do this, you're more than welcome to come and be on the show like Matt McClanahan was, or McNair was, Ben Quina. We've had people on. Zach Fry, who's an accomplished historian himself, he was on with Wayne Motz, and it hasn't come out yet, but we have another show in the can about the 20th Massachusetts with him and Ralph Siegel. And so we teamed Zach up with guides for those episodes, because it's called Ask a Gettysburg Guide, not Ask a Historian. It's Ask a Gettysburg Guide. So we have to have a guide, you understand. But Zach, I do believe, is a patron. If he's not a patron, he certainly should be. But he's also he is a listener, and he listens closely, because when he comes in, he I remember when you had this guy on or whatever. So, yeah, he's his own historian, but he is also part of our community. And I like shining a light on people who impress me. And I think other people should see them. And I've situated myself in such a way where I have the ability to do that, and I want to do it. And I like doing it. Even when they outshine me, I kind of like that too. Like, I think Matt did really well. I think Matt McClanahan has a charisma that I never saw until I looked at him in the editor. I don't know. There's a charm on a camera with Matt. So anyway, thank you, Phil, for sending in your bumpers. And if you're a patron and you missed that post, go back a few days. You'll find the post where I'm asking for it. It's got all the directions and the script and everything in there. But by all means, you're certainly welcome to improvise around those scripts too. Peter, I had a good Easter. Yes, I did. Justin says, hi from Dumfries, Virginia. Hello, Justin. You're in my family's neck of the woods. Ish. Tim York says, my wife and I are thinking about renting a place for a month in Gettysburg, a kind of dry run as we are considering moving there as our new home. We're currently in Atlanta. That's a good idea. I would recommend this to anybody. Rent before you buy when you come here, unless you're in that very specific retirement situation. There are places here that are kind of like ready built for you, where you can go in a one level house. It's brand new, or less than 20 years old new, ready made, don't have to do anything to it type of stuff. And they're in certain areas. They're not everywhere. But if you're looking for a little, slice of heaven, a little something unique, I would strongly urge you to look before you leap. Rent before you buy. And what I would say is, so for example, Court out here, and they want to live in town. They have an apartment in town now. They like it. They want to buy in town. And I was like, do not give the borough your money through your property taxes. Do not do it. I said they'll mismanage you the money, and then they'll turn around and punish you with higher taxes. Don't do it. They're going to tell you what you can and can't do with your property more than any other place because it's a historic district. Don't do it. But I want to live in Gettysburg. It's so convenient. I love it. Yes, you love to visit Gettysburg. That's how you discovered it as a tourist, and it should remain that way. Rent in town, and you'll see what I'm talking about. A couple years, it will be very nice. I can get out of my house and I can walk where I need to go. It is nice. But after a while, you might find I don't really walk much anymore. For me, it was because I got too busy. Like, I didn't have the time to walk everywhere. Because I had too many things to do that the walking would have cut into time. So I had to just drive from appointment to appointment, which kind of sucked because I liked walking around everywhere, right? It's like, I don't know, it's cool. It's like you live in Mayberry. But also I moved out to the country to be in the country. So living in town initially was what was affordable and easy to do. Everybody's got a different situation, of course. So for me, I always wanted to live out of town. So then I finally was in a situation where I rented a place outside of town. And then we eventually bought outside of town. Some people are city people, some people are country people. So if you want to live in the town, live in the town. I'm just saying, look before you leap. Explore the area as with being a resident in mind, because it's a very different mindset being a tourist and being a lifer. When you live your life somewhere, it's a completely different thing. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm saying it's different. And some people that I've known over the years, I'll give you an example. There was a couple that came in, I think it was the second or third year that Gettysburg was in business, way back when, in the aughts. And by the way, this area I'm driving through here is one of those areas that's like really good for retirees, because all these houses are just add water houses. They're all built and ready to go. There's like 4 models. They all look the same. You have no property. I think the housing authority mows your lawn for you and does all that stuff. Perfect, right? And it's up here on Hers Ridge Road, so it's somewhat historical, even though it's been completely destroyed by these houses. There's a new development right over here, more destruction of the beautiful bucolic area. But hey, you want to live in Gettysburg, so they'll keep destroying it as long as you keep wanting to live here. So, where was I? I don't remember where I was. Oh, so they came down, took a bike tour. Never been here before. Took a bike tour. Man, we really love this place. This is great. Yeah, it's an awesome place. A couple months later, they're back. I'm like, oh, you guys are back. Yeah, we're coming. We came down to look for a place. Oh, yeah, you're moving here? Yeah, we decided we're moving. We're sick of New York. Okay. So they moved down, all excited. Couldn't figure out gainful employment because they loved it as tourists and they acted rather rashly. And were stuck. Couldn't afford to save up to get out. And they regretted it. Now, that's not a common story, but it's not uncommon either. And so you just have to do your research. Know what you're getting into. It's a different animal. It's a beautiful animal, but it is a different animal. It's like, you know, you spend your whole life raising horses and then suddenly you decide you want to raise cattle. Well, they all have hooves. Yeah, but they're different animals. You got to learn about them. Don Dingle says, that's some great advice. Avoid group tours and take advantage of the LBGs. Absolutely. It's the best advice ever. John Stewart says, I'm thinking about coming up again this June. Came last July when Little Round Top reopened and spent 4 days there, and it just isn't enough time. It is not enough time. Don says, just checked, high of 69 with 43% chance of showers. And that'll change 6 times by Saturday, Don. Peter Zach said, what's the story with the cell service down there? It sucks. What do you mean, what's the story? I mean, what are you talking about? It's actually a lot better than it used to be, but it still sucks. I think it's more of a terrain issue. I don't think it's a coverage issue. Weather Channel says 78% chance of rain for Saturday. See what I mean? 43%, 78%, 100%. I don't know. When did you start AG, Don says? 2018. Michael says, so bring an umbrella on Saturday. Peter says, it's a movement. I hope it comes out all right, Peter. 1E Nerd says, sup, Pookie? Not much, 1E Nerd. See you Saturday, I believe, right? Exorizzy 1GBAX says, just hopped on. What road are you on? Now I'm on the Fairfield Road. Oh, he got it. Thank you, Don. Peter says, watching the new season of Love on the Spectrum, thanks to Matt. Doesn't that show make you feel good, but also sad? Because people off the spectrum can't love that way. Isn't that the shame of it? I mean, you know, you look at some of the people they get set up with and they fall right in love. And I'm like, what are you looking at? What are you seeing? They're seeing something. Did we go down this way already? I think we did. We'll do it again. They're seeing something inside that we can't see through the outside immediately to see. Because I look at some of them, I go, really? But they're like, I don't care what they look like. How could there be such a fantastic place like there and it be true? Well, I will say to you, Nelson, what the great Augustus McCrae said to the sweet Lorena Wood when she was crying that she would never get to San Francisco once Jake Spoon let her down. And he said, Lori, darling, now you got to understand, life in San Francisco is still just life. And the only way to live as I see it is to enjoy the little everyday things. And she said, like what? And he goes, well, like a glass of buttermilk, or a sip of whiskey, or say, fast a gentleman such as myself. So, life in Gettysburg is still just life. It's a little better than anywhere else if you're into this stuff. But it's still life. We still get sick. We still die. We still lose friends. We still lose families. Some people still get murdered. Some people get other horrible things happen to them. Violated, if you will. There's a lot of bad things that go on because it is life. Human beings are here. Human beings are awful. But it seems a little less awful when it's at Gettysburg. You know what I mean? Gettysburg, our murders hit just a little different. They're a little easier to handle. With the beautiful scenery and the bucolic feel, why, we could take more than most other places. Because that's the Gettysburg way. No, but I joke, but really, I mean, it is a great place, and it just seems that, you know, oh, that's so horrible that happened. Well, let's go walk up by the peace light, and then you're like, oh, what a beautiful day. Then you just kind of forget things. Don Dingle says, Matt offering up some great advice today. Rent before you buy and stop building. Thank you, Don. Extraverger says, you can live in Gettysburg and never see enough. Listen, you are absolutely correct, Extraverger. I have lived here now, let's see. It'll be, what year is this? So 12 years, a total of 12 years with an 8-year break, starting 20 years ago. Yeah, we did come out here, didn't we? Yes, we did. Oh, well, whatever. Yeah, and so I lived out here all the time. I had a tour business with licensed Battlefield guides, and I went out on almost all of the tours when I first opened that business 20 years ago. And, you know, got to learn this stuff for free. The customer paid for them. And then I started doing the show. And it was doing the show that I realized I knew nothing from those 5 years. I barely scratched the surface of what there was to learn and know. And now I've been doing the show. We'll be doing it 7 years, I believe, this D-Day, June 6th. And I still don't know anything. And I'm not exaggerating. Like, I think that's the thing, is it doing the show, believe it or not, which you won't because I put on a air, but it really has humbled me as far as thinking I know anything about this. And when I say anything, you know, obviously I don't know nothing, but not to the point where I would ever put myself out there as an authority. And I have admiration for the balls it takes for guys who do, because it's for whatever reason, which I'll never understand, but it is a competitive field of study, Gettysburg. Maybe, well, because it's very popular. I mean, it's, you know, the epitome of Civil War battles, I guess. It is the most popular, most recognized one for sure. So I guess everybody's vying to be that, you know, Gettysburg expert or whatever. But I don't know. That was never me. I always wanted to just learn about it and share it with other people, because I'm like, don't you find this interesting, right? Like, how do you not find this interesting? And I'm not necessarily talking about the people like you guys who already find it interesting. I'm talking more about the regular slack-jawed public who doesn't find anything But Honey Boo Boo, interesting. Is Honey Boo Boo still on? I keep using that as a reference. That's the last time I ever had cable, I think. Was So I don't even know what the trash show is. Kardashians, is that still a thing? I don't know. But you know what I'm saying. Trash TV is all they care about, and their stupid sports. And like, to me, I just can't get into any of that stuff because this stuff is so real. It's got all the drama you need. It's got all the testosterone-driven, manly competition you'll ever get out of a football game and more. And, you know, these guys wish they had some kind of body protection, right? Like a football player does. So I find all the excitement and drama that most people get out of their chintzy entertainment on cable here. And so I want to share those stories with other people, and I've been chipping away at trying to figure out how I want to get that message across to people, to get people to have the same or similar reaction that I have to these things. And I don't know what it is. It might just be as simple as me having a nerdgasm out in the middle of a field when telling a story or hearing a story. Go, oh, isn't that cool? Like that guy. Did you ever see that video of that train enthusiast? I should play this on AG Today one time. This train enthusiast, he's like at this train station, I guess, and I don't know if it's pulling out of the station or pulling into the station, but it's this antique engine from the 1950s, I think. I don't remember what it was called, but he's like, you know, orgasmic looking at this thing as it's slowly pulling in. You hear the engines at, you know, at that low idle rumble, and he's like, oh God, it's a Pac-Man 695. Oh geez. And then the engineer honks the horn without the guy prompting him to do it, just honks the horn, and he about explodes. And it's the funniest thing. Maybe I need to go in the field and have, like, you know, a guy tell me a story on camera, and I'll just do that, and then maybe people will see how exciting this stuff is. I don't know, but I'm going to figure out how to tell these stories in a way that will engage the person who isn't already engaged. To me, that's the key, is you got to get them. We're already here. And this is why I'm asking, you know, for your help with DH Pioneers and everything, because we're already here. We're already interested in this. We are in the choir. We are in the church. We're in the congregation. Right? I don't have to pull you guys in. But here's the thing. We're middle-aged to old age. Most of the people in the audience are older than me. We're all going to die off. Then what? There are holdovers from the 20th century now that are, I guess, considered the powers that be around here and in every other historic town. And they're just doing the 20th century all over again. And we're not in the 20th century. And neither are these kids coming up behind us. So to me, that's the objective. Those of you out there who are like, oh, nobody cares about history. These kids don't care about history. That's because people that you and I listened to coming up bore the snot out of them if they're presented in the same old way that they were presented when we found them. But there are ways to get to them. I had a very enlightening meeting. I don't know, it wasn't a meeting. One of my listeners is a teacher in Chicago, and he brings his senior, I think they're all seniors. He brings his history class out here every April, and for the last 3, I believe, he's been asking me to meet with them and talk with them. Scott Hancock does too, a couple of other people, and they go to all these other Civil War sites and meet with local historians. And so I got to talk to them the other night, and I told them it's true, it is the highlight of my year. And it is also the best way to come out of the miserable slumber of a winter. is to have these kids come out in April, because unlike a lot of the ones I see from, well, wherever, elsewhere, these kids are sharp and they have personalities. They're not afraid to talk. They don't sit there on their phone ignoring you. They look you in the eye, and every one of them had a firm handshake when I met them, and I couldn't believe it. And we got to talking a lot, and it was really cool because like one of them had his own YouTube channel for his local fire department that he's like a volunteer, not, I don't know, I forget, he explained it to me. He's only 17, but he's actually going into the academy, I think he said 2 weeks before he graduates high school. And you know, and he has a YouTube channel about fire history and how things work at the fire department, and really interesting stuff. And these kids are the kids that I'm looking to promote. And we have them in our field as well, in Gettysburg as well. But we just need the infrastructure that I have built on my own with nothing to be built up further to support us and them as we grow this. There's only one way to do that, and that's with everybody's help. So hold on one second. Reza is here. So
hey, wait.
Hey everybody, the whole town's here.
I have a yard sign. I'll leave it in there with. Thank you, Chad. Thanks, Alex. See you soon.
See ya.
How's it going?
Good. How are you, Reza? I'm just wrapping up a little live video here.
Oh,
just
really?
driving
I'm
around.
sorry.
No, it's okay. It's okay. People
of...
love it when I bump into people. Yeah.
Well, good. Well, have fun.
Yeah.
Tell everybody, tell the
I'll see you
viewers
inside. You going inside?
I am, just for a second.
Yeah, me too. Oh, well. All right. But I'll see you inside.
All righty.
Yeah, I'm almost done. See ya. All right, let me see here. I got to get through these questions and finish them here. Let's see. Blah, 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 blah. You know, is Peter, were you in Lexington Concord? Okay. Is Peter playing the devil's advocate? Your logo figure needs a cartridge box sling and canteen on the other side. Don't hate me. That's, first of all, I have to look at it closely, but he's depicted the way he is on the monument. So we didn't create him. He's from the 111th New York Monument. So I'd have to go and look and see what you're talking about and see if the monument has it. I don't know. But I know that Mike took a photo of the monument and colorized it. So. Peter loves how innocent they are on Love on the Spectrum. I do too. It's great. Okay, let's see. Lewis says, if it ain't raining, you ain't training. That's right. Estella Don Dingle says, out where you are driving now is where the marathon originated, 2011 to 2016. Kevin and I opted out. It was looking a bit crazy. John says, this got real dark real quick. I think Honey Boo Boo went to jail. Probably. Don Dingle, as you're talking about knowledge of Gettysburg, my coach for taking the LBG, said you need to stop reading/learning as an enthusiast and learn as a student. That is so hard for me to do. Yeah, it means you have to read the stuff that you're not already drawn to. You have to read it all. Like for me, I knew something had changed in my mind when I finally started being interested. Well, not interested. But initially, for the sake of the show, I had to start learning about the civilians. And then I became interested in the civilians. And then I was like, you know what the lesson here is? Don't say no to something just because you're not already interested in it. Expose yourself to everything. And if you're interested, you'll be interested. If you're not interested, well, now you know a little bit more, but you're not interested and you don't have to go any further. Rich Snyder says, you don't have to be an expert to find worth in the hundreds of human interest stories that happen at Gettysburg. And you, Matthew, are very well versed in the stories surrounding the battle. Thank you, Richard. Matthew Gillespie says, Honey Boo Boo was canceled. It was a bit of a scandal. Okay, well, there you go. I don't remember any of that. Getting rid of cable is the best thing you could ever do for yourself. John Stewart says, I'm 39. I'm 46, John. Thank you. Exquisite says, Matt, how do we get more involved with your organization? There's a couple of ways, sir. You can become a patron at patreon.com/addressinggettysburg. There you'll get shows that I create just for the patrons that kind of take a deeper dive into the Civil War. We use Gettysburg as kind of our launching point, but we kind of go into the Civil War, the era, military history, social history, a little political history. We try to just cover it all. It really just depends on guests. But a lot of authors are on our Patreon channel. They have their books that come out through UNC Press or other places, and we have them on. Eventually they come out for free, but not all of them, and it's usually when I need something for the free feed. Typically, sometimes around Christmas, I'll put them out in the hopes of, driving more people over to Patreon. But to be honest, I think that's hit its ceiling. And I don't think people are as interested in what Addressing Gettysburg is doing anymore, which is why we're in the innovation revamping phase now, because there's only so long that you can do the same thing before people start going, well, this is getting old. So, and the other way, and, depending on what you can spare, perhaps the more effective way in the short term would be to make an extremely large 5 to 6 digit donation to dhpioneers.com, which is a nonprofit that was created by a listener for us, so that we can support and fund video projects that we want to do, we want to do a lot of things with them. We want to reach that younger audience that I was talking about. But we also, I have never believed that the Gettysburg story, the story of all of the people, the participants in it, have been told the right way, because they've been told by historians making videos. With all due respect to them as historians, again, to catch the people that are not already interested, you have to entertain first and educate second. The entertainment is how you get them to open their minds. And so I'm looking to do it in ways that are not done. And those are collaborative ways. I don't certainly claim to hold all the answers. I just have recognized the problem. And I want to work with actual artisans, filmmakers, and other types of people who know the stories of Gettysburg, who are history buffs, and we use the connections that we have through the show to these experts, and we make something that is entertaining, emotional when it needs to be, and educational. And we've got other ideas, bigger ideas, but these things have to take place over the course of years. You can't just shove it all into one short year, which they seem to get shorter with each passing one. But yeah, so that's kind of what we're doing. There's ways to support it. Obviously, liking and sharing all the free content that you come across, that helps as well. It grows the audience. I don't know if I'm supposed to say this, but clicking on the ads that you see on YouTube, that helps as well. Supporting the things that we advertise within the show is a way to do it. Of course, getting bags of coffee from from Bantam Roasters, getting your little ground top, I should say, from Bantam Roasters, or from addressinggettysburg.com/cafe, buying t-shirts from addressinggettysburg.com/shop. We have a lot of ways to do it, but the most effective ways are becoming a monthly patron over at patreon.com/addressinggettysburg. That's where you get something in return. And you also kind of are ahead of the curve as far as what we're doing. And I also kind of consult with the patrons because I value their input, because they enable me to put food on my table. So I care what they have to say about things. Yeah, and then and DH Pioneers is going to hopefully fund our growth. You can also do monthly there, but but the only thing you get in return is you get to withhold some money from Uncle Sam at the end of the year, but which is nice, I'm sure. But if if you're gonna, I would say, not that, do what you will, but small dollar donations, I would say go to Patreon, and do that as a monthly thing, and you get something in return for that. But if you're an Ubermensch, and you want to do something large and substantial, throw it over at Digital History Pioneers so you get that tax write-off. But then again, I barely know how to manage $100, so I'm not going to tell you what to do with your money. X-Witty says, Matt, I have more to say and more questions to ask. Put the short question. Should we email you via the Patreon, or is this a better line? Never mind, that just answered it. Okay, become a patron if you can, says Alicia. It's awesome. Thank you, Alicia. Thank you. Matthew Gillespie says that the cartridge box strap is not on the monument. So there, Peter. X-Wax, I appreciate your questions. I appreciate any support you can give, even if it's the free support, like liking and sharing and all that stuff and subscribing. But yes, what was I going to say to you now? Oh, but I must go. Also, if you can make your name legible, that would be great. Or just tell me what to call you, and when I see your name, I will call you that. Peter, his cartridge box is probably laying on the ground. It's not on the statue. And it is depicting, I should remember this, it's depicting a real person, I believe. I'll find the story of it and I'll let you know, because there's probably a reason why he does not have a cartridge box. Anyway, you guys, I got to get going. Have yourselves a great day. This was a very long drive, but oh, you like it when I say, okay, then I'll keep doing that. As long as you know that's you. Anything incoherent is going to be your name. I appreciate you spending all this time with me here, even when the phone needed to cool itself down. Thanks again for watching the show last night and all the good compliments on it. We are going to get Matt and Charlie back. There were a lot of people that requested it during the show last night, so I texted Dave and I said, we're getting calls for Charlie and Matt to be reunited. It'll feel so good. And he said, I'm on it. Also, I told him to get on Gary and Tim for coming on as well. So you guys have a great day. Have a great life. Have a great everything. Have a great coat to go over your uniform. Unless Peter says that's not accurate. Later. You're welcome, Nelson. Thank you for joining us. Thank you, X.